Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Sencut Draxor. This is a nice full-size EDC knife coming in at 8.71 inches long as a 3.8 inch sheep's foot blade of 9CR 18 MOV stainless steel. In my opinion, Sencut does some of the best job with their 9CR from any other company that I've ever tested it from. You have a nice utilitarian blade there, great for doing those fine precision cuts, not to mention being it is a straight edge, those in-hand cuts are going to be nice and powerful, and it's really going to shine at, breaking down boxes, stuff like that. You'll have full power from heel to tip on this one. This one has a nice satin finish, got a little swedge up top to thin out that tip even more. And you have a small row of functional jimping. It does its job. The sharpening choil is perfection. You can see where my fingernail is right there. You can have all that sharpening life before it'll even think about widening at the heel. So that's tons of sharpenings. I always enjoy testing these Sencuts because they always come extremely sharp out of box and ready to slice. This one has a high flat grind that comes down nice and thin to 14 thousandths behind the edge. So this thing should be a slicing machine. Let's find out. Man, when it comes to being consistent, Sencut is just top tier. I can't say there's a company at this price point that's better than Sencut. I've not gotten a Sencut that wasn't ridiculously sharp, especially in the last 2 years. I know that for a fact. And they just perform so well. For being a $40 knife, it's insane. And 9CR is not, it's not the best steel in the world. It's a pretty low end budget steel, but they do a great job with it. And it's wicked sharp, and I mean, you can see it can do a good bit of work. And it is slicing so well because the geometry on this one is very thin, plus you have that straight edge, so it's really going to excel at this type of work, and especially doing tip work. If you need to do power cuts, you could easily do that with this. You have full power from heel to tip with this one. And for me, it's comfortable. My hand sits in front of the little kick up at the back. I mean, it would be nicer if the scales were a little thicker, but they weren't. They were comfortable. I had no real hot spots that I noticed. The clip didn't bother me at all. And yeah, so far so good. And here right away, I can feel the very crisp edge that has tons of bite to it. And look, right here, I just hit a really hard piece of that glue that I've been having in my sisal rope. And I was really thinking that it was going to wreck the edge on this, because I tested a pretty premium steel the other day with super steel, should I say. And it hit 3 pieces of the glue and completely rolled the edge over. Now, it could have had a bad heat treat. It could have been, I don't know, a lot of stuff could have been wrong with it. But just trying to say that this $40 knife can hang with the best budget knives. Now, it might not hold the edge as long, say 14C Nitro V 154, of course, but it's very easy to sharpen this stuff, and it's easy to touch up. I'm able to keep this 9CR a good, with a really good working edge for quite some time by just stropping it every time I finish using it. I strop it, and if I want to, I can take a ceramic rod and do a couple of quick passes and make it hair shaving sharp again in no time. I like a decent, like a 18-degree bevel on this, the 9CR. It does a good job of holding it. It doesn't roll that easy, at least not the Sencut stuff. And just look how fast, I know it's sped up, but it just blasted through all this. That edge never fell off. A+. Man, I just love testing these. Y'all see what I'm saying? These things just perform. I haven't really had a Sencut that did not perform outstanding out of box. So now let's take a look at the deployment action of this knife. So you have a flipper tab and thumb studs. You have jimping on that flipper tab, to do the light switch, it rockets out. Riding on cage ceramic bearings. Look at that. Complete fall shut action. Thumb stud action, great. Verse flick, excellent. If you want to load up on that flipper, you can. I find the light switch to be the most comfortable and the one you don't have to think about at all. So when it comes to the action department, the detent is dialed perfection and it's super snappy, super smooth. Let's close it up, take a look at this handle. Now, I like what I'm seeing here. Usually we just see one solid color from Sencut because they're trying to keep the price on these down. But this time we have black and gray G10 with the chamfers on the side and the milling to be the black G10. And then on the top you have a peel ply gray G10. I think it's a nice, attractive look. Offers the perfect amount of grip without being overly aggressive. And these larger chamfers somewhat give it a contoured effect. Your scales are shadow boxed with the stainless steel liners, just meaning that the stainless steel liners stick out a little bit further than the scales. Some people get all bent out of shape by that, but they do a fantastic job of rounding over these stainless steel liners, making it very comfortable. I mean, I just tested this thing, and if my hands feel good testing it, anybody's hands should. So you have a domed pivot that does stick up a little bit higher. That doesn't bother me at all. Gives you more area to put your driver in there. You have Torx T8 construction throughout, except for the pocket clip, which is Torx T6. That's definitely not a deal breaker for me because you don't have to take the pocket clip off. They did not inset the clip into the frame. However, it is rounded really well and it's almost like polished. So I have never had a problem with my pant seam getting snagged up in there. They did countersink those screws. And you have an actual deep carry clip. All you might see is this little tip sticking out, and it is reversible. You have flow through construction, so if you need to blow it out with some compressed air, you can do that. Wipe it out with a Q-tip, you can do that as well. No lanyard hole visible. They do have a lanyard post right there, so if you enjoy carrying it with a lanyard, you have a spot to put it there. 2 hourglass standoffs, and they skeletonized the stainless steel liners as much as they possibly could to bring down the weight as much as possible, coming in at 4.69 ounces. I think that's really good for the size knife it is, and it's perfectly balanced. So it feels much lighter in hand, making it a lot more nimble, easier to use. Now for some quick size comparisons, this is a hair shorter than the Sencut Glide Strike. It's a little longer than the Sencut Serene. It's bigger than the Ontario Wrap 1 and 2. It's almost identical in length to the Sencut Omniform, and it's a good bit bigger than the Sencut Draxor. And it's just a hair, I mean a hair shorter than the CGRB Large Pyrite, and it's just a hair longer than the Civivi Button Lock Praxis. And lastly, it's a little bit smaller than the Civivi Tacticoric and the Petrified Fish Tuning. Alright, now for my nitpicks and complaints, I'm being very nitpicky here because this doesn't bother me at all, but maybe if you have large, extra large hands, it may bother you. I don't ever like seeing this because you're forced into a grip. As you can see, my medium-sized hands, I have a good bit left over. So large hands, you should be able to fit this. XL hands, you may sit on top of this. And I don't know if it'll be uncomfortable or not because I'm not sitting back there. And then possibly countersinking that clip. I've never gotten hung up in that area. And maybe a flat spot underneath this pocket clip. But my final thoughts on this one, this is a $40 knife. And I think this is an extremely, extremely high value knife here. You're getting a nice large knife, great action, very slicey performance, and I think it's nice and comfortable. If you break down a lot of boxes, do a lot of detail cutting, you know, where you're doing the drag cuts, this is an excellent choice. Obviously, if you need something with some belly, this isn't going to be a good choice for you. But I think if you spend $40 on this one, you're most certainly getting your money's worth. I think it's a nice looking knife. I like how we're getting multicolor here. I think the weight is good, especially being that it's a completely balanced knife. And yeah, I could highly, highly recommend this one. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the Sencut Draxor? And what's your favorite Sencut knife? If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave those down below and I'll do my best to get back with you. If you're interested in the Draxor, it will be linked down in the description. It will be an affiliate link, so if you want to help support what I do here on this channel, helps me pay for my testing materials. I can't thank you enough. If not, no biggie. Well, that's going to do it for today's review. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of my content, and subscribe for more in-depth knife and gear reviews. Thanks for watching, everyone. Remember, keep those blades sharp, smile more. Peace!